is withholding resources because of political affiliation. That is just not true.
Turns out the only ones politicizing the hurricane was FEMA. And that misinformation the left warned you about was true. According to a bombshell report by the Daily Wire, a FEMA manager told relief workers in Florida to not help homes with Trump signs. Internal messages obtained by the Daily Wire shows the list of rules for FEMA canvassers. Rule number 2, avoid homes advertising Trump. So after FEMA confirmed that the messages were real, Director Deanne Criswell fired the employee and called her messages reprehensible. In response, the fired FEMA manager told Primetime that this wasn't an isolated incident, and quote, FEMA has made me a patsy. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is demanding a full investigation and wants every partisan bureaucrat fired. But it looks like the agency's problems go deeper than just one employee. We also found out that FEMA didn't answer half the calls it received for disaster aid. Half the calls to FEMA after the hurricane went to voicemail. No response. And here's what rescue workers are saying on the ground. Listen.
You know, I had an interaction with local FEMA officials as well, and they wanted to help people. And what was the interesting thing is it was stated that, hey, we can't have our fingerprints on this, which I think leads back to the actual question, which is, what sort of culture and what sort of fear is there in place at some of the lower levels of FEMA personnel where they're afraid they're going to lose their job if they don't speak up against actions that are blatantly not aligned with what the organization is supposed to be doing?
The biggest losers in this scandal, aside from FEMA and the people FEMA hasn't helped, the media, who told their viewers that any kind of criticism was disinformation. Now they've been exposed again. Former 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy is here. So Vivek, you know, that's what all they talked about was disinformation for those 3 weeks during the hurricane. It turns out FEMA workers were not helping homes that had Trump signs.
The reality is, Jesse, sadly, the difference between a conspiracy theory and reality used to be 6 months, now it's 6 weeks. And the truth of the matter is our government has been lying to us systematically on a wide range of questions over the last 4 years. One of the things I'm really looking forward to with the Donald Trump presidency starting in January is a government that just tells the people the truth again. I don't think that's too much to ask. Sometimes the truth is uncomfortable. Give it to us straight. And I think that's what's really eroded trust in democracy. That's what's really eroded trust in American government. And I'm looking forward to the chance to hopefully win that back with Donald Trump in the White House. I think that's going to be good for the country. And shame on the government officials who have lied from everything about this, all the way dating back to the origin of COVID, to countless other fake scandals in between. Let's turn the page on that chapter, get back to truth. That's going to be good for the American people.
Well, it seems like they're turning the page pretty quickly because this transition's off to a hot start. We just heard Marco Rubio's been selected as Secretary of State, and we're hearing you were down in Mar-a-Lago this afternoon during some of these transition meetings. What's the vibe?
The vibe's very positive. I think we're excited about what's coming in January. I got to say, Jesse, I saw at transition, I was part of many of the meetings today, very well-run process, incredibly well-organized, meticulous, big focus on merit, making sure the best person actually gets the job for the country. I think back to over a year ago when the media was howling that somehow Donald Trump would not be able to select the best candidates for each of these roles. One of the things I saw from being there today is literally everybody in the world wants to step into these jobs, everybody in the United States of America, and we're going to be able to pick the best and brightest to lead our government. And I do think that that's encouraging. We live in a 1776 kind of moment, reviving our constitutional ideals, and I think we want the best and brightest in every one of those roles. And because of that decisive victory, because of Donald Trump's vision for the country, I think that's exactly what we're going to get in these cabinet positions and beyond.
So how does it work? So there's a big room and then everybody's there and you just look at resumes and you're like, well, let's go to AG. Let me get the resumes for Attorney General. Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so look, my friend Howard Lutnick, I give him a lot of credit for doing a good job here, setting it up with TV screen.